So you believe in paranormal experiences?
Oh yeah, I've had a lot of them. I've had numerous ones. A lot of them. They're very, very strange. Going back to, I was a drummer. I started playing the drums when I was about, this is my original drum set here, my original Hendrix. I started playing probably when I was about 15. And back Woodstock, my good buddy Mikey Heller was bugging me to go to Woodstock, and I was playing with my band that weekend. And Mikey was one of the kids that grew up in the neighborhood, and he always used a lot of perfume, always smelled really. And one of the other guys who lived on the same street said, well, that's because he has the bag on. I didn't understand what that meant. Well, I found out that Mikey wore a coloscopy bag, or whatever they call those bags when you don't have kidneys. Mikey's kidneys were bad, and he used to go into the hospital. At that time, the dialysis machines were gigantic. They were, you had to go in the hospital to get the treatment. And you had to go in 3 times a week for, I don't know how many, every week of your life. And well, Mikey was very sick. But anyway, he wanted me to go to Woodstock, and I was playing with my band and I couldn't go. I was very into Hendrix, and Hendrix actually had his vet up at the gas station in our neighborhood. And the night Jimmy died, I remember that vet disappeared, and I think it was stripped for parts. Anyway, back to Mikey. I was playing in a band up in New York State, and he kept calling me that one weekend, and calling, and I was living with Ronnie, my old girlfriend, in New York City on 90th Street and First Avenue, and that's another story we'll get into, but he kept calling that weekend, and the message fell on the floor, and I didn't see it till Monday, and it was, Rich, call me. So Monday, my girlfriend, she was an actress, quote unquote actress, had me drop her off at an audition on the west side, the other side of Central Park. And I said, here, you take the car, I'll walk home. She goes, you can't walk home through Central Park at this time of night. You're crazy, take the car, what's wrong with you? And she looks at me and she goes, you look like death. And I said, huh? She goes, you look bad. She goes, go home. I'll never forget those words though. She goes, you look like death. So I go home, and I have what's called automatic writing. Have you ever heard of automatic writing?
No, I have not.
The automatic writing is, you sit down and you have a piece of paper and a pen and you just start writing. And it's not me that's writing, it's somebody else that's writing through me. And
so it was a ghost or something?
Yes, well, like I said, I got home and I saw the note. So I called Mikey up, and I get his mom on the phone. And all day at work I felt terrible. I remember that day at work I felt lousy. Right around noon I told my boss I wanted to go home, and he's like, you got to finish out the day. And I finished the day, and that's when I picked up Ronnie and dropped her at her audition. That's when she told me I look like death. So I go home and I see the note, call Mikey. It was on the ground where it normally would be on the table, and that's why I didn't call him that weekend. So I call him up and his mom's on the phone and she's crying. She goes, Mikey passed away today about noon. And I just, oh my God, I can't believe it. Well, before I saw the note, I had written, I had what I wanted to write, so I wrote a bunch of songs, or lyrics as I put them, songs, lyrics. And yeah, she goes, Mikey passed away. He was trying to call you all weekend. He wanted to talk to you. And he was one of my best friends in Queens. And so anyway, I hung up. I found out, you know, when they were going to lay him out, when the funeral was going to be. And he was only 18. And I must have been, I think he was a little older than me, so I must have been 17, or maybe 18. About the same age, I guess, because I was driving a cab in the city at the time. But anyway, I go back to the first song. I said, what did he die of? I asked his mom. And she goes, well, he had a heart attack. I said, a heart attack? I thought he had bad kidneys. She goes, well, they didn't give him the machine Friday. They sent him home without the machine, without getting the dialysis. And what happens is your body
deteriorates.
yeah, and I guess you have a heart attack. So yeah, she goes, he had a heart attack and died this afternoon. So I go back to the song, the first song I wrote when I got home that afternoon, and the first words to the song are heart attack. And it says, I'll never forget the first two lines, heart attack, 4 junkies and a cow, life's a sleepy hollow, and a cat's meow.
It's beautiful.
So anyway, I go back to the first song that I wrote, and I look at the lyrics, and the first 2 words are heart attack. And the words are heart attack, 4 junkies and a cow, life's a sleepy hollow, and a cat's meow. And I still have that song on the original paper I wrote it on.
It's beautiful but sad.
Yeah. And so I believe that was written by Mikey. I didn't write it. And that was one of my first experiences with automatic writing. And it doesn't happen to me all the time. It happens once in a while. I don't know. You can't make it happen. It just happens. So anyway, the band I joined, I was playing with, we had a guitar player come into the band, and he became my best friend. His name was Roger, and in fact we had a house together in Teaneck, New Jersey. That's the next part of my story, but Roger was in the band, and the guys back in Queens were having a party, sort of for Mikey and everything, and these guys were real, I mean, they could party. In those days, man, these guys were nuts. But anyway, so I said, hey Roger, want to come to a party? There's a party, it was a Friday night, I think. And he said, sure. So we get in the car and we drive to Queens, and it was the same thing. It was an upper apartment on the 2nd story. And we ring the doorbell, and it never dawned on me. I never saw it. But Roger was the same build, same frame, same haircut as Mikey. So I ring the doorbell, and these guys are upstairs and they're stoned out of their gourds. They had hashish, and they made hash brownies, and these guys are eating hash brownies. And they put, like, I don't know, 1/4 of an ounce in each brownie, something ridiculous. But the guy answers the door, and he looks downstairs, and he gets this weird look on his face. And we go up and we're partying, and he comes over to me later, he goes, Rich, you freaked me out. I said, why? He goes, I looked downstairs and I thought it was Mikey that was with you, man. It looked just like him. And I looked at Roger, and that's when I realized how much Roger looked like Mikey. So that was sort of a trip.
Saw you, babe, for the first time today. I was relieved and got out from my plastic haze, and it's a strange feeling.